You worked with everybody just like you'd never been like to WWE. You came to practice. You did all the TV.
But I also wrestled like I wasn't in WWE, so I had a little bit of work to do still. Yeah. So
he had the Smoky Bones barbecue suit on. That was the best.
I'll tell you, Vaughn, I had one class with Rip. I talked about this. I think I told Rip this before. This was where I knew I was out of the business, and I got caught up living with a girl and raised her kid in Louisville, smoking hot chick for a year and a half, and wouldn't take any of it back, but learned some life lessons. I developed a little bit of a drinking problem in that period. I mean, I'm talking a whole bottle of that Big Burnett's vodka every night, and then I was drinking with ODB. That night before I came to the hour of the class with Rip, I hadn't trained. I wanted to start getting back. I didn't realize how I always went to the gym every day, but my conditioning, from drinking, I was severely dehydrated from drinking probably for a year straight, a bottle of vodka every night. And I kid you not, we get into that class and it was the hour chain wrestling. I don't know if I even made it 12, 15 minutes in. My body, not from being tired, I started cramping severely, and from being an alcoholic essentially. And I was so fucking embarrassed. I just go, Jesus Christ, like what? And that was one of those life moments. So I quit drinking for that, and I ended up getting rehired eventually. But that was a very embarrassing key moment in my life for me, and it didn't intend for it to be that, but it's something that literally it sticks in my brain, and I always remembered after that. I go, conditioning is so important. You can't be doing things that hurt you to do this, because it was embarrassing. There was nothing I could do. I sat down and watched the rest. I go, what a fucking joke I am right now. So, thank you.
Really, it was nothing to be embarrassed about. When you come in, like if you come into my class, if for normal people that have been there for a long time, that's just breakfast at Tiff. You do this every day.
Yeah.
It's the way of life.
Yep.
Have I already been to the gym 3 hours today? Hell yes. Did I work all night the night before? Hell yes. If I don't get my rush, my endorphins going, I'm mad and I hate the world. I hate the world anyway, so I don't want to hate it as much. But the normal person just changed for 10 minutes and all of a sudden they got to go to the puke bucket.
Yeah.
And you were a bigger guy. Yeah. And you were, no matter what, you're coming in a strange environment. So you're nervous. You could be in good shape, but now because you're nervous, you blow up in 7 minutes. So that was the norm. Yeah. So it wasn't no big deal. I'd say anytime somebody come in, to get the puke bucket ready, it's going to happen. Yeah. Because they're going to be nervous. They're in front of different people. They don't want to look bad. And that's just the way it is.
Conditioning is so important, though, in wrestling, and I learned that I always was in conditioning, but I'm talking blow-up conditioning, and I always heard stories too of Steamboat and Flair, and they would do the Stairmaster, and I bought one. I got the same one. I literally set myself up for success, but I learned that was. I tell people this. The biggest reason I used to get in Deep South, Bill DeMott used to blow me up, and I used to take too much caffeine. I didn't know the things I was doing was hurting me, and I didn't understand why my conditioning wasn't what it used to be. But I was making bad decisions from a nutrition standpoint and over-consuming things, stimulants and things that were making it even more difficult and being bigger to begin with. But I realized, how the number one thing that all these wrestlers that have usually the most success is they have fantastic conditioning more often than not. And the one thing that was holding me back at that time, I was so scared of blowing up in conditioning. And so I had to make changes, and I really contribute, and you're tied into all this. And what I was telling you really hammered it home to me is I have to get my conditioning out of the equation in order to do this. And all my success and the opportunities I had was because of what I put into conditioning, and the things that you implement into talent, teach that by doing it, and you get no better conditioning than doing it. And that's why I just say it really is. It's what makes you or breaks you in this game, or one of the big things, as well as your attitude. So.
Yeah, that hour chain, man, there's nothing like it. That was great. You didn't have to do all the squats and all the whatever else people tried to put you through at other places.
Yeah.
You just did an hour chain. That was your cardio, and you fine-tuned your wrestling skills as well. So
absolutely.
Sometimes you hated going through it at the time, but when it was all over and done, it's like any other workout. You're like, oh God, I feel so much better now. I'm glad I went through that.
It's like football work. Like football practice is over. Man, what a practice. I'm glad it's over. Now I can shower and shave, get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
And do it again tomorrow.
But that's what you go out there, and I tell you, in my time in WWE, and with TV and pay-per-view, you have to have a lot of things that are planned for cameras, and they want to know as well. But live events is where I really, really, everything I learned in developmental in the different places, going out there and working with guys. And yeah, we'd have the go home in the sequence, but doing a lot of the match on the fly is the most fun I've ever had. But that kind of stuff is where you can go out there. You don't have to worry because you have a Rolodex of stuff you can go to, and you know how to mix and match with different guys. And so it pays off. If you're like really trying to do this, that stuff pays off though at a later date and allows you to make more money, have more fun, stay healthier. You're not worrying about messing up because you know what you're doing out there. And it's the best thing in the world. And that's why I just huge respect, because you teach people how to be successful, whether they like it or not.
Man.
Well, like I said, I must owe him money or whatever.
Big gold and a billfold, so swole that I can't get the shit closed. So I money fold and rubber band wrap, and when it pops.